I know, I'm like, have you started the meeting already? I'm like really confused.
All right, I'm ready. Yes. He was so oblivious. All right. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call the Board of Finance meeting to order, please. First order of business is I'd like to appoint a secretary, and as Chris is not able to make it today, and I'd like to voluntold Michael.
It sounds
That's a
good.
suggestion. Are you okay with being voluntold?
I'm being
All right.
fine.
Wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate that. With that, would you do the roll, please?
Sure. Deanna Carlson.
Here.
Todd Lavieri.
Here.
Michael Chen. I'm here. Chris Labrie.
He will be absent.
Victor Alvarez.
Here.
Maria Weingartner.
We'll give her a minute.
Okay.
I think she'll be here.
Robert Hamill.
Here.
James Yao.
Here.
Nicholas Matrakis.
Here.
Jan Schaefer.
She will be absent.
Steve Doka.
Here.
And Alan Badanus.
Here. So I believe we need to seat Alan for Chris. Okay. So with that, I need a motion to approve seating Alan for Chris. Second. Bob made the second. Nick,
Okay.
all in favor? All right.
Alan for
Opposed?
Chris.
None? Okay, great. Alan, you're on. Okay, a motion to approve the minutes from our July 24th meeting, which seems like a long time ago. Any questions, any edits? Move. All right. Victor, second? Second. Nick, okay. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay. Mike and Tiger, thanks for joining us tonight. I would say just maybe as a general intro to this, and thanks for preparing some of this material. We hadn't had an update in a while, and we had a lot of things that were going on. So we thought it'd be a great opportunity, kind of a quiet meeting. How'd the baseball field come out, right? It looks beautiful, by the way, tremendous. I took a video of it this summer and sent it to my boys, and they're like, really? Of course, they're graduated and moved on. Secondly, just overall, New Canaan Athletic Foundation, how are you doing? What's going on? Thoughts about that? Dunning, anything that might be on your mind and all that? And then maybe the last thing would be, where are we going? You know, I mean, you had this vision and plan of how you wanted to do this. I don't even remember how many years ago now, but
10.
I was going to say, you know, well before COVID. And here we are. And I don't know that you're doing it for 10 more years. So I think the question might be, what's the plan? And how do we move forward from here? So start anywhere you'd like to start. Those were my thoughts. And then, of course, questions from the board as we go. Fair enough?
It is.
We can just go over the baseball project. Came out incredible. Everybody has seen it. The most important thing in my view is the baseball project came in basically at the amount that we expected. There's been a slight 1.5% overrun that we took from the contingency that the Athletic Foundation wired to the town, I think at the end of August. So these are all of the numbers in front of you. Importantly, I think we should point out that there was a lot of soft costs at the beginning of the project in the design phase that the Athletic Foundation also underwrote. And so you can go through all the design costs and everything, but at the end of the day, the project ended up being about $5.6 million. The town put in a flat $2 million, and the Athletic Foundation contribution has been roughly $3.6 million. And we are done and have an incredible project that from my standpoint, and it's interesting in the fall because I've seen some of it, James, you probably have a little experience with this too. It wasn't just meant to be a baseball field. I mean, obviously it looks like a baseball field. It's incredible, but what really is important and the bottleneck that we have seen over the last 10 years has been the access to turf. And that is now, the ability to have this on campus with an additional, I forget what the number was, but something like 45% additional turf to that complex allows for things like soccer to be played up there, field hockey, some other things where certainly youth football with the spillover, where if you don't have to be under the lights, those types of things. And that I expect should be super favorable because it is the one biggest bottleneck that we hear about. And I'm not saying that this is going to entirely resolve it, But that will be a big part towards it.
You made that point when you made the pitch, that it was going to be just what you said. It was going to create some supply for a lot of demand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think people will always want more, and then, so maybe that's a good segue into what's next for the Athletic Foundation.
Well, let me just quick, on the ball field itself, it gets used for obviously, it'll be varsity home games on any other thing. Is it also being used, is it like 14s and 15s anymore?
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
all
no,
that.
no, it's fully integrated into New Canaan baseball and scheduling with them as well. They can use it for little guys. I know they tried to use it. We didn't get it opened exactly. We had the grand opening and then we shut it down to make sure that some of the final construction stuff got done. But the plan certainly for this fall and into the spring will be to use it for some of the youth baseball, also for the little guys on Saturdays and Sundays and things like that.
Yeah, perfect. Great.
Yep. What's next for the Athletic Foundation? I would tell you this is a big project. Our first priority is there's a bridge loan out to some of our supporters for this project. We have to get that paid. That's our number one priority, and we're doing that in conjunction with baseball. Part of this was to make sure that you saw that the field was getting done, that it's completed, and that we had an asset to quote unquote sell. And that's got to be our number one priority. Beyond that, we continue to run the enterprise zone activities in the summer. We have a new executive director, Madison Strauss, who is an assistant lacrosse coach, female lacrosse coach for the women's team. She has been absolutely wonderful. If you remember, we started with Bobby Rushton. Bobby was incredible, really put the whole framework around this. We had an executive director in the 2 years after Bobby left to go to Wilton, who did a nice job, but I think was a little bit unorganized and kind of ultimately moved out of town and wasn't really integrated with the system. Now Madison is fully integrated with the system, has a good understanding of where things go, what teams have to get summer activity, who our constituents are, who are mostly the big New Canaan lacrosse clubs in Gold Coast and Eclipse. And she had a really nice, super organized, and did a great job with the billing and everything. And we ended up being up about 15% over last summer. There's just a couple of trickles that still have to come in during the month of September, but I just gave her second half payment and her bonus check, which the board has approved, that we pay them $10,000 to do it, and then an additional $5,000 if they end up doing a really nice job. And she did an absolutely incredible job with not a ton of direction either. She's a super go-getter. So I feel very comfortable about how the enterprise zone activities have gone. And then beyond that, our other sort of operational function is collecting the player use fees from the spring and the fall. If you recall, those go 50% into the turf replacement account, 50% into the enhancements account or new things. And that went very well in the spring. I anticipate it's pretty, everybody knows that it's coming, so it's pretty self-sufficient at this point. What's going to happen next? Generally, I have found, well, I'll make two statements. Number one, once you've done a big project like this, it's time to take a little bit of a breather. And we found that after we did Water Tower 1, 2, 3, and the track, because you don't want to constantly be asking people for money, especially for certain projects. And that's where we were kind of developing towards the master plan. I think secondly, what I've found, and the way that the Athletic Foundation has functioned now, and this works certainly with baseball, is we're a really good infrastructure to, my words, follow the money, right? So we've laid out a master plan. We've paid for that, the soft costs, if you will, for the design and what would come into that, and on a very low level. So things like when we talked about wanting potentially a basketball facility on the backside of Dunning, if we wanted to turf additional fields at Saks, we had some of the survey work done there. Those things are in the master plan, but until we get sort of a big cohort to follow and push for that, it's a hard thing to sort of raise for, right? And so, and I think, part of this is what we found in our experience when we were doing the Dunning plans. Like, that was in the master plan. And if you'll recall, part of the reason why baseball went here and the idea for the press box sort of pulled back is because we just didn't have the institutional support for that, the financial support for that. So I think in discussions with the board, and baseball was a real, I say baseball, but the complex was a real learning around this, is that we had a lot of support for that, which were restricted dollars for that part of the master plan. So we moved that forward and then kind of used our credibility to be able to have that negotiation with town. So at this point, I'm going to take a little bit of a step back, not on the Athletic Foundation, but kind of hear from people what the next part of the master plan is they want to see done. I wouldn't expect that we're going to have any big projects done in the next year or so.
Okay, so maybe two questions. One would be, so it sounds like there's the operations of the New Canaan Athletic Foundation for town sports. That just runs. They pay fees.
There's two things that we do operationally, because I don't like to say the words operations because we don't want to get into the operational, certainly not the field scheduling and stuff like that. The enterprise zone, which was part of the first, when we set up the memorandum of understanding, the MOU, they asked us to run the enterprise zone from June 15th to August 15th as a kind of a for-profit, or it's a not-for-profit, but it's just a pass-through for town that we rent the fields to private organizations, and that money just gets passed straight through and goes into the turf replacement account. It was a function to be able to build, since we built these fields, that we wouldn't be in the same position, that we would, at least the Athletic Foundation would be able to contribute to part of that. So that is the enterprise zone activities. The other piece is collecting the player use fees, which that goes back, I forget what the original selectman report was.
Like
It was
2018 or 20.
Oh, no, this was like, I think it goes back to the 90s. The original $25 fee
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Yes.
by the recreation department.
Yes.
And as part of the MOU, that was lifted out. And now the Athletic Foundation collects that fee from each of the youth sports organizations. And it's, again, we're just a pass-through entity. And that's the part that 50% goes into turf replacement and 50% goes into enhancements, as a way to solve for, at the time, people wanting transparency, is to say, okay, I pay this fee, where does it go? Now it's very clear, it doesn't go into a recreation department budget that they couldn't really point to, well, I don't see how much grass seed you bought or whatever it is. Like, now it's just very clear, half for turf replacement, and they're all using the turf, and half is it for new projects. They can see the new projects when they're developed. Those are the only two operational things that the Athletic Foundation.
And then
does.
there's the big projects,
And then
whether
there's
it's
the big
stunning, whether it's a
projects.
ball field. So you say there's the master plan, and right now there's the Dunning project is on hold for all the work you're talking about. Because we talk about the construction work that needs to happen for the traffic. We talk about.
Right, so that aspect, so the traffic aspect was moving forward. So
Okay.
Boards were good enough to give us, the design portion. We're kicking that off right now. I got the proposals from the designers. They're gonna have to come to the selectmen for approval. Out of that, it was 200,000. She gave us 10% of the cost. And at that point in time, we'll kick it off and meet with the Board of Ed. Already spoke to Dr. Leslie about it, and Bill Egan, and then start that traffic design with the thought of construction next June. So the thought would be to come back this budget cycle for the remainder as to what we determine at that time. And then take care of that aspect of it, that whole traffic. And then from there, if other aspects of the master plan, come forward, then say the additional bathrooms or the storage areas on the visitor side, that kind of thing, then at that point in time, we'll design for those and bring those forward.
But the contribution from the Athletic Foundation for that project was to be an enhancement to the press box.
Right.
And that was the part that we just didn't have a
the
lot of
funding.
financial
Okay.
support.
Okay. And right now that's just on hold
I think that's just.
until it gets a new champion and a new owner, and that makes sense. Okay. And what else is on the master plan that you think will move forward, or is everything just nothing's really burning now?
Nothing's really burning, although I always hear rumblings about indoor space.
Fidel,
Whether you want to
ice
call
rink.
that ice rink. I would say, and again, some of these are dreams, but in some cases, dreams become reality.
for sure.
So
For sure.
indoor space, which could include some kind of a field house or a basketball arena, whatever on the backside of Dunning. And then there's more appetite for turf. And I just had somebody from the president of the soccer organization 2 weeks ago, asked me to, sit down and have a talk about this. And I explained the same thing, that, we're here now as an infrastructure to be a conduit to town.
That's right.
And if you can find that, and we will stay true to our mission of all sports and community. But I know that everybody, lacrosse would love to see that happen too. So if we could get those two groups together, and if there was a real push to say, okay, and it made sense to have more turf at turf at Saks. We've already, I think, done the survey
We've done
work
the
at
survey.
Saks. So again, if they get champions to come forward and say, we've got a big group together and we want to do it there, then we'll start to push forward.
Like
on that.
Connor Field, or you mean the field between the Y?
Field between the Y
Oh, yeah,
and
wow,
Saks
okay.
itself, that,
Wow.
that large expanse.
Interesting though, you
Yeah.
you ask about Connor though, because the soccer guy did
Yeah.
bring that up to me, like that.
I get that. I mean,
Yeah.
It's
Super wet field.
super wet.
Although it was always
lot of
maintained
geese.
as like the best turf in town, because they
Super
were
wet.
able to
Mhm.
spray it
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the other side of the school because of the maintenance building in between. But I understand that I haven't been over there in a while, but I don't think that is the same
Okay.
quality turf.
Bob?
You mentioned sort of a bridge loan, and so is that you're still a little short on this project? And
Correct.
I mean, I don't want to, like, how short? I mean, that's probably one of the holdups for going forward on other stuff, is you got to fill this.
Yeah, but that's between baseball's helping with that, and that was between a couple of big donors.
Is that just
like
collecting, or you need a few more pledges, or, in terms of how short
Oh, I mean, it's substantial.
Okay.
It's enough that.
So that's why
I'm
you
not
got to
gonna
chop, right, you got to chop wood before
Yes,
you.
but I expect that a lot of that, we had some shadow donations and some people that were very interested but wanted to see the project go
Right.
forward and actually get done before they fully committed. So we're in conversations with baseball to make sure that that's my own personal, like, I don't like having that on the
No, I
balance
get
sheet.
it.
I just want to have it
Yep.
wiped out before I fully consider anything else.
And I think that's why.
But those are restricted dollars. So,
And in terms of your succession plan, are others looking to step up into the role, or
I
you need to volunteer somebody?
I need to volunteer somebody. The truth is we had somebody and they moved. So it was, I do need to find somebody, because I think that the board needs to be refreshed. I think it's always good to have
Yeah.
new leadership. I think that we need to have, quite frankly, a lot of the people on the board have said we're sort of aging out from our old kids, and I'm sort of in that boat, but there's too much work that's been done on this infrastructure to kind of not have this go through. I just have to find the right people, and again, it's probably that will be the number one priority for this kind of coming year, because the last year was really just about getting the project
course,
done and
of
having
course,
our board
course.
on board.
Did you have a sense of the balance on the turf replacement account? Is that
Yeah.
at the,
It's at the Community Foundation.
So where are we on that sort?
$355,000 right now. Yeah. And that does not include this year's sweep. So there's another, I want to say 180,000 in the operations account. So that has to be, part of that will be swept over as part of the calculation for this year.
So I think, is it like 100, 200? What is like Dunning? What was replacing Dunning last time?
700 grand.
600 or 700, yeah.
700.
Yeah.
Just want to get a sense of where we are versus.
Well, and the other important question is
what's the-
useful life.
What's the useful life? I was just gonna ask left on
10
that.
years, right?
And 12 depends on the usage.
Then you get
know.
used.
So what's the oldest turf that we have right now?
Dunning.
Dunning. So how many more years does that have on it?
Like 5.
It probably has at least another 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just starting to peak on the Parks Department budget as far as the capital. On the 5-year, we had it at 10 going forward, and I think it's going to bridge the 5-year mark coming up. I believe. I think that, in speaking to John, I think that's where it's at. So I think it's just going to start to arrive, and then you'll see the others come a couple 3 years after that.
So it's like we've got in 5 years, we've got Dunning, and then another 3, we have Water Tower or something, or
1, 2, 3.
are they?
Yeah, 'cause
like,
those
is
were
there,
done
like,
at the
each a
same
year
time.
apart?
No, they were all together.
Oh, all
They
at
were all
once.
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Oh,
one-
wow.
One got reskinned and then 2 and 3 were constructed basically at the same time.
Any other questions for Mike?
Yeah, is it more expensive to replace or to maintain a turf field or a grass field?
Oh, once it's done, it's way more expensive to
Grass.
maintain a grass field. Just because there's not really a lot of maintenance other than once a year, kind of
Buying more
to-
crumb rubber. or crumb-
you don't even have to buy more crumb rubber. There's a machine that we own that they go out and they like kind of respread it because some of
Oh,
the stuff
okay.
gets pushed around. But yeah, no, there's really not any maintenance per se on a turf field once it's built, other than doing that once a year and we own the machine already. I wouldn't even be able to,
Yeah, we haven't quantified the difference between the two, but there is a savings maintenance wise over one or the other. We haven't quantified exactly, okay, costs us X amount of man hours to mow and then fertilize and aerate and overseed. Excuse me?
You gotta paint lines, you gotta.
Right, right. We haven't quantified the two between it, but.
I'm
yeah,
just going off of, I don't think there's much of any maintenance when it comes to the.
Right,
turf
there's some
fields.
grooming that they do, but
Grooming.
not as much as the mowing. And
Right.
then,
The
and then
comparison would
it's-
be in year 12, you need to spend $700,000. So that's 10, 60, 70,000 a year. Maybe that's where you're going you don't have to spend it, but then one day you do. But if you were to, right, annualize the cost, maybe.
Right, in that regard,
That's right.
that's the, yeah, exactly. That's what you have. You have this kind of reduced maintenance for 10, 12 years, and then you have a big hit again.
That's fair.
We do have to
Um,
buy some crumb rubber because everybody carries it home, right? Every day, everybody carries a little bit home, so. And everybody can tell, and unless they want to bring
Shows
it
up in my
back, we're all
mudroom.
set. Exactly, unless you want to bring it
In
back. out
everybody's
of your
cleats.
washer. Yeah, we do have to buy a little bit, just to make up the difference.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, Mike, thank you. Hey, before you go, I have to say, town looks amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I for all this walks throughout the town this summer, just you look around, whether it's Irwin or Waveney, you're just walking down, whatever. And I sent you a note and I sent a picture of Tiger Way. It was a beautiful day, blue sky and all that. And then we had a speaker here last week and she opened up her comments by saying, this is Peggy Noonan came and spoke at the library to 300 people in the audience and I think 1,000 on the Zoom, on the YouTube stream. And she started her comments with saying, New Canaan looks beautiful. The streets look great because she obviously drove on a paved road, which was, we kind of kept our head down on now. You didn't go on 123, did you? But she said the roads are beautiful, the sidewalks, the houses, everything looks good. I was like, really impressed with how beautiful it looked, and just give a shout out to your team and you. And it's really, I know it's a lot of work, and there's always 100 other things you could do. I know someone will complain about this or that. I get it. Just I want to give you a shout out because I think it really showed this summer. So it's a lot of work to keep it rolling. So
It's a group effort.
I know.
I'm only at the head. Other than that, it's everybody else. John's at the head, but I'll go back and.
Let them, I mean,
Everybody,
seriously,
Thank you very much.
I'm giving you my opinion, but I know it's shared by others. It really, really looked
We
great.
don't really get those. Not that aren't followed by a but.
Yeah, right, exactly. But, right, yeah, exactly. Okay.
People that know.
Right.
And I put me
you
in that
both.
camp.
Right.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Ann? We have two updates. I will call it a semi-final, near final fiscal year 25 look. Close, and I know you're getting close. And then I think we just have a 2-month look for this year. We have July and August. Yeah, actuals. And before you start, I want to embarrass you. This is Ann's 30th wedding anniversary tonight.
Wow.
And where is she?
Yeah, where are
Where
you?
is she?
Why are you
She's
here?
at the town of New Canaan.
Trip next week.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you so much. And congratulations.
There we go.
Have them zoom
does
that in.
Ryan, are you taking over? Or do you want me?
Yep, I'm here.
Do you want to
We need
handle
to
it? or
make
would
my
you want me
screen a
to do
little. Yeah, I'm ready to do it.
it? Okay.
Do you need my screen to be bigger?
Yes, I think
Okay.
everybody has it, but make it bigger, please. I think everybody has a copy or can look it on their tablets. Ready when you are.
Okay. To do it.
Nope, I'm good. I was sorry, just trying to get this zoomed in appropriately. Okay. So yeah, this is the update for June 30th, 25. This is the end of the year, fiscal 25. So to start with, our top line revenue numbers, we ended the year, and this is the semifinal draft, 177.4 million, which was 13.9 million over last year's fiscal 24, 7.5 above estimates, above the budget, which is 104.4% over budget total. Starting with current year tax collections. Again, I'm going to say current a lot, but fiscal 25. Current tax collections ended at 160 million, which was 101.2% over budget, 5.3% over last year. Prior year tax collections, we know, ended very high. We ended at 1.3 million, which was 830% over 832.8% over last year and 429.9% over budget. Building permits ended at 1.4 million, which was 22.8% over prior year, 161.2% over budget or above budget. Conveyance fees, 2.1 million, which was 27.3% over the prior year, 139.3% of the budget, over budget. Parking permits, fees, and tickets ended at 941,000, 23.4% over the prior year, 107.4% over budget. Interest on investments ended at 2.1 million, which again was 33.8% over the prior year, 106% of what we budgeted. Transfer station tipping fees ended the year at 334,000, which was 19% below the prior year and only 80.5% of what we budgeted. Board of Education excess cost grant was 1 million, pretty much even. 39.4% over the prior year, 109.4% over what we expected. And then total other revenues were 8.2 million, which was about 3 million over the prior year, 59.7% more, and 165.5% of what we budgeted. Total expenditures for fiscal 25 ended the year at 173.95 million, which was 9.9 million over the prior year, 6% higher, and 977,000 or 99. I'm sorry. Yeah, 976. My numbers don't make sense. I should have a negative.
That's 976,000 less than budgeted.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah, I should have that as a negative. For some reason, it's not.
It's a good
was exactly 99.4% of the total budget.
Yeah, that's it.
And so the net position, we expected a drawdown of the fund balance of 5 million, and we in fact increased it by about 3.5.
There you go. 9.2 million swing.
So just to reiterate some of the numbers, I believe this is correct. So right now, our surplus was about 8.5 million, correct? We did use 5.75 of it to pay down the mill rate took off the expenses. That did leave us with a net surplus. And then you're still working on this. There could be a little bit more, we'll see. But we could have, what do you think our ballpark will be where we'll end up? Range. I know you don't know yet, so don't feel like you have to pick a number, but 9 million surplus. So
Yeah,
a little over $3 million, of which we'll put it will be in the unassigned general fund, because we also know we've budgeted for a surplus and we expect to have one. We will not have some of the additional revenues this fiscal year that we had the last fiscal year. Tax sale and bond premium are two that jump off the page. So we're good to have that extra 3 because that covers those and allows us the cushion. We'd like to both maintain our fund balance as well as be fiscally in a good place to continue to afford the pay down. Good. Anything else you want to add to that, Ryan? And I know you're not done. I mean, we can move on we'll move into the next year now, but sounds like there'll be a few
Yeah.
puts and takes over the next few months. Yeah, okay, good.
Fiscal 25, I don't have anything to add.
Just a question on miscellaneous. What, is there three things that stand out that overran expenses?
On the expense side or on the revenue? Sorry.
Expenses?
Miscellaneous?
Yeah.
Oh, if you remember, we took some ARPA funds into the general fund as a reimbursement. So we transferred from those excess funds into our special projects account. That flows through this account.
Okay.
So it'll actually get cleared out once you go through the approval for the line item budget transfer. So it looks over right now.
Thank you.
Same question on the revenue side, 3.1 million to the good. What's the biggest part of that?
I'm sorry, on the other revenue.
Yeah, other revenues. It's a great number.
That's where we took in ARPA funds.
Okay.
So we took in about I think it's 1.7 in that one. We had unrealized gains of about 800,000.
Okay.
And some of our excess costs, we got in a little bit more than our education cost sharing came in a little bit more than we planned.
Great.
And then for the transfer revenue was the only thing that was down versus budget? What was,
station,
yeah, the
that's
transfer,
tipping
correct, yeah.
fees.
For what, yeah, the
Fees.
tip, why?
Fewer tipping.
Yeah.
Fewer
Yeah.
tipping.
Just
like
fewer
truck
people
center.
using it.
Just
Tiger,
why?
you have a thought on that?
Yeah.
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 We actually have one less hauler coming to the station. He's got an area where he can dump or he can go elsewhere, where his trucks are. So it's a little bit more cost effective for him to go where he's going. So we also don't have an expenditure side either because they balance off of each other. So we pay 111 going out the door. We charge 115 coming in the door.
Oh, so it's really.
So it's
small.
in essence a wash. So you see on the expense side, we've got it, it's all based upon tonnage, right? So
Right.
tonnage in, tonnage out.
Right.
It's basically right now we have one hauler that's finding another way to go. And we anticipate that might stay for a little bit longer and then eventually it might change and come back again.
He's just pricing it out every year where it's more cost effective for him?
Yeah, and he's got a yard himself. So he's got an area where he can transfer and go to another location, which is more cost effective for him. And it really is coming down to, there's a lot of shifting in the industry. People are being bought out, so they're buying their clients, things like that, and then they're finding other ways to go. But like I said, for us, it's a wash one way or another.
wash, really,
Either,
so it's-
right,
yeah,
comes
so it's
in,
not-
we charge 115, hits the floor at 115,
Right.
goes out at 111.
Right,
So,
so not a big difference.
yeah.
Okay,
all right.
thanks, Tiger.
Good. Bob, you have a question?
No, it's, no.
No, I have a question.
Oh, Alan.
Employee benefits is more or less on plan, but it was almost 16% jump. It's like year to year. Just curious, is that healthcare costs? And also, maybe, I'm the newest person here, obviously, but employee benefits is higher than wages. I would have thought it would be less.
Medical is in here. Our medical costs for the employer portion of it. Our social security taxes are in there, Medicare, social security, the employer part of it. We have workers' comp costs in there. Trying to think what else flows through there.
All employee benefits.
All benefits get put into there. Yep.
And it went up 15%, 16% year to year. Is that health insurance?
Health insurance, it didn't go up that much. It went up 3 to 5%.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good.
And then we also, so we don't budget for, there's kind of an offset there, but we don't budget for overtime. So if we've overtime for storms, DPW, police and fire, those taxes aren't also budgeted for either. So anything will flow through that. I'm trying to think offhand, there was the additional costs, workers compensation, and there's one heart and hypertension. So there's those other costs that flow through that benefit line.
But it was up 16%.
Yeah, heart and hypertension is a big one.
That's a big one.
Yeah, heart and
Oh,
hypertension
I'm
with
sorry.
our-
Also
with
to
our union.
pension.
Yeah,
Our pension
pension.
contribution went up.
Yeah.
The ADAC went up 500,000-600,000, I think. I forget. Sorry, I couldn't remember that.
Wasn't there also a union negotiation?
One.
We're in the
No,
middle.
we're in the middle of that one.
Middle.
Yeah.
DPW settled, but we're still in the middle of police and fire.
In the more detailed P and L that we get, I think the details are spelled out on employee benefits. Aren't there more line items? It's not just summarized.
Yes.
So you should have the last budget deck you would have seen would have had that. But if you need it, if you want more detail on that, it's available. Yeah, it's a good question.
Get the details sent out.
Good. Other questions? Okay, we're sort of putting a bow on 2025, other than and the audit begins and you already started. Yeah, yeah, true.
You know what? I forgot to bring it in. It's not related to benefits, but we just received today a check from Kerma for $114,000 as you know, their pool, our equity share, our pool grouping did better this year than, and so our payout and it's calculated based on, you know, your premium, you know, what you get, but we got $114,000 check.
Good.
I have a big one in my office right now. I forgot to bring it in.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it. It's already in the
I had
bank.
it about 2
Oh, I
seconds,
see,
and I'm
I
like-
see. Got it. Anything else on 25? Okay, let's jump to 26. How are we doing these first 2 months?
Okay, yeah, 26. It's from my perspective, a little bit difficult to actually do any real analysis of just 2 months of
Yeah.
the year, but we can do
course.
what we can. So our top line overall revenue, 92.2 million, which is 52%, 52.7% of what was budgeted so far this year. A lot of that, a huge amount, is obviously tax collections. So our current tax collections are 88.2 million, which is 53.8 of the budgeted amount. Prior year tax collections, 169,000, 56.4% of what we budgeted, and 81,000 more than last year. Again, I'm not sure we can expect the end of year numbers to sort of beat last year's. The trend isn't going that way, but for now, we're looking good there. Building permits are at 160,000, 17.8% of the budget, 33,000 more than we were at this point last year. Conveyance fees are 509,000, 31.8% of the budget, and 17,000 more than we were at last year. Parking permits, 245,000.
Just on that one, I'm actually surprised it's only a little more than last year. That seems like a lot for 2 months, a third of the budget in 2 months. Just saying. I know it's summer. That helps, I guess. That's the selling season, but wow. Interesting. Just a comment there, Ryan. No, not a
Yeah,
question.
I didn't make any notes on it. Unfortunately, I can't give any more
No,
detail
no,
right there.
Just saying.
Parking permits are next, so 245,000 in revenue there, 26.6% of the budget, which actually is 114,000 or 31.7% less than last year at this point in the year. Interest on investments to this point is 443,000 or 24.6% of the budget, 66,000 less than last year or 13%. I believe Ann told me the other day, we're waiting on one of our investment statements, so that number is subject to change.
Yep.
This is an early meeting in the month, so a couple things are not in this report that would be,
Oh,
if we wait
understand.
another couple weeks.
Understand.
Transfer station tipping fees are 40,000, which is 9.5% of the budget. That's 30,000 less than last year or 43% less than where we were at this point last year. I think that's a trend we're probably going to see throughout the years, that number is less than the past couple of years. Our Board of Education excess cost grant is at 0 right now, but we don't expect those until February or so. We get those payments in the spring. All other revenues that we've got are 2.5 million, which is 57.2% of the budget, or 1.7 million more than last year. And Ann might be able to explain a little bit more about that. I just wrote down timing difference due to premium.
It's basically a journal entry. It's at what point did we transfer the premium out of the bond fund and transfer it into the general fund? So it was just a timing of when it was done last year to when it was done this year. I have procedures in place now that we start doing it the first month of the year, so it's done and not forgotten about.
Okay, our overall bottom line expenditures so far this year, 21.0 million, or 11.6% of the total budgeted amount. Again, there's some timing differences there. We've got encumbrances that were encumbered last year and were not encumbered yet this year. So that's making some of our difference. And we have a payroll that's not yet booked. Our revenue minus expenses net for the year is 71.3 million in the positive.
Good. I know it's early, but it's nice to keep track of how we're doing. The trends begin right now, right, in terms of revenues for sure. Good. Anybody have any questions, reactions?
Just curious about
Okay.
building permits. Anything is just more,
Just more
building
permits.
going.
Haven't, yeah, there
Is
was
that a
nothing
good
that
thing for
stood
real
out like we
estate?
had last year.
Yeah.
We had some, was it Cherry Street and Burdick, I think,
Yeah.
last year? So nothing as of this year that stood out.
okay.
Do we expect more revenue from the parking changes we're about to make?
You know what? We're not doing it for revenue. So we have not been calculating additional revenue because we're going to be giving away free parking on Park Street. So it really is a traffic mitigation exercise, not a revenue exercise. So if we get more revenue, that's great, but
That wasn't the intent, yeah.
that's not the intent.
Okay.
It's a little bit lower because one of our reports came in later, so it's not in these numbers. So it's looks like it's 114 less, but it really isn't.
Well, what did we budget? That's a good question, Nick. So we budgeted 918 and last year we budgeted 876. So we budgeted a little bit more even though we underperformed there, right? No, that one was okay, but I take that back. We did 941. Okay, so we basically budgeted a click less than what looks like actual. Maybe that answers your question. Well, we budgeted 941. I mean, sorry, we actually got 941,000 in revenue. We budgeted 876. Right?
Yeah.
Last year. This year we budgeted 918. So we budgeted a click less to answer you, to make your point. It wasn't about revenue, at least in that regard. But it was that this year's budget's a little less than, but closer to budget, the last year's budget. So we'll see where that ends up. So, and we budgeted 1.8 million on interest to be conservative. Last year we budgeted 2 and did 2.1. I don't know, Bob, we might do 2.1.
We've got rate cuts coming. They're coming. I mean,
It's coming.
who knows how much. We won't go down that.
But we'll get 4 or 5 months of no rate cuts. I mean, yeah,
Wait till
exactly.
the
Exactly.
Fed Reserve goes.
I think we're getting
There you go
longer
there.
period of time without the rate cut
Might
than
be
we thought.
Take to zero, right?
I think back in March, we thought that would be less, for sure. Yeah.
Is the private tax collection, is that associated with those,
Tax sales?
yeah,
So for it coming in this year, those no, I'm sorry, that would have been reflected in last year. The difference would be seeing it in the current taxes because they're all back on the tax rolls. Especially the 2 that were sold, that was probably like 200,000 between the 2 for taxes. So that's back on the current year taxes.
Okay, good. Anything else, Ryan, Ann, on that? Team?
Nothing for me.
James, okay. All right. I think we have some line item transfers. Yep.
I can try to explain anything you want here. Otherwise, I have just 3 pages of transfers to review.
Well, let's don't spin through them. Let's just make sure everybody gets, find them on your tablet or in your copies. How you want to go through this? You have them bucketed by group.
Yeah, I did change the format, so you may have noticed that from a couple of months ago. These are now just kind of sequenced by the journal that they're entered in the system. So they're basically beginning to end in terms of when they're happening or when they're effective. But beyond that, they're not grouped by department or anything like that.
The main ones to look at is anything over the org column, which is on the left-hand side. 1005 is considered our operating fund. 3601 is our bonded capital. So you'll see that on those ones where it's 3601, they're moving within the same tranche or bucket of authorization, which they can do. But they're more transparency to bring it in front of the board so you can see that they're moving between it. So long as it has the same number in their under their project name, like 26-5. So long as it's in at 26-5, they can move within that bucket of money. So those ones are ones just to look at so you know what they're moving.
So the first one's a good example of that, if is what you're saying,
Yes.
moving from the center school parking lot to the garage. $10,000. Okay. Those are for review. If anybody has any questions on them, we're not voting on those to your point. They're all pretty de minimis. Anything you want to shout out? Doesn't look like very much.
There's nothing. No, there's nothing that stands out.
Anybody have any questions on the reviews? Pretty straightforward. Okay, then on the ones you need approval on?
And there's just the one. So that's Board of Education wants to, again, as Ann explained, we can move that within the bond grouping. So this is moving from ceiling tiles up at Saks to the PA system that they're adding on. 51,100 is the total there.
Anybody have any questions or concerns about that one?
Is that because they overestimated the cost for the ceiling tiles, so they no longer need that? They're gonna come back and request that again?
Right now, they don't need that level, so they went through to see what they could move to change in for the PA system.
Okay.
And that'll just reduce the amount we need to go out to bond, because that was a $1 million project.
Well, they've shifted it from the tiles to the,
Security upgrade.
Right, I'm just saying, it's not, is the reason they're shifting it because it was more than,
oh yeah, sorry, they said, sorry,
Yeah,
the
look at
electrical on
receiving.
the PA system came in more. There's some
Okay.
things that they did in
So it's-
upgrades. Yes,
okay, so it's 50,000 more than they expected in the budget.
Yes.
presentation.
It's a fair question.
Yeah,
Like, are
it's
we
a
going to be
very
back for
expensive
more
thing.
ceiling tiles next year?
Yeah, so we shouldn't see any ceiling tiles in the budget for next year, right? I'm gonna take a note.
Keep it on the agenda every month. Ceiling tile
You're gonna go
update.
you're gonna go into Saks and they'll be like, no ceiling. And you're like, "You son of a
it's
gun."
the new logo.
Wouldn't let us buy those. They're-
So why was there $20,000 of line item transfers in the review journal entries, but $50,000 in the ones that need approval?
Because of where they're taking it from different accounts. So because this one is the largest one coming from one single account, it has to go in front of the board. They used different account budgets that they had that were under the 10, so they can do that.
I see. Okay.
And this is just to add clarification, these four are actually supposed to be grouped together. We did them in two separate transactions for whatever reason, but this is a single transaction. This is the expense side and this is the revenue side. So this is just a single $9,500 transaction, not 20,000.
Yep.
Good questions. The questions? If not, we can have a motion to approve the line item transfers for replacing the ceiling tiles to the PA system security upgrade for 51,100. Nick, second? Michael, okay. All in favor? I can't see Maria. Did Maria vote? Just make sure. Maria, are you in favor or opposed? Okay.
Should we seat someone? Should we
Oh, it's
seat someone?
okay. No, it doesn't matter. We're good.
Okay.
We have a quorum. Okay, so moved. And then you have these journal entries. We have to approve those? This is BOF approval.
Yes.
Okay, you want to take us through those?
Do you want me to go
And if you could, yeah, go ahead, please. Thank you.
Okay, so we had at the last meeting where land use. Oh, Sarah, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Sarah, you wanted Sarah to talk about the transfer. What we're looking to do is the budget amount that's in the general fund. We want to hold on to those funds for regulations that are a follow-up to the POCD, which Sarah can explain. We need to approve to get that over to special projects so we can hold on to those funds to continue with these expenditures. So I'll turn it over to Sarah.
Is it for the reg review or the POCD?
Yeah, so The money was budgeted for the reg review and it will be used for the reg review. The POCD isn't really relevant to this other than we use the POCD to change our regulations, but the money was budgeted for the reg review and that's what we intend to use it for.
Any-
Did everyone hear me?
Yeah, no, we,
Yeah.
I think everybody's processing because we're not, this is
I have
an
a question,
unusual
Sarah.
transfer.
I have a question,
Okay.
because in professional services anyway, and isn't that 50,000 for the BFJ? Is it not for BFJ?
Correct, it is. It's just this
So
is
why do
from
we need to do a transfer?
this is
So
from
it-
fiscal year 2025.
Oh,
it's
It
money
year
dies,
chance.
yeah,
Okay,
so we'll
got it.
take it, move it to special
Okay.
projects. She can hold on to it.
Okay, got it. All right, got it.
Did this come out of our capital review or to give it an extension? No, our bonded capital, no, we do
Oh,
it a
no,
year.
it's coming purely out of the operating. fund.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, so it's purely that. It's to
Yeah.
use it for what it was intended for this year, not last year. Okay. Let's do them one at a time. Any questions on that one? Okay, let's make a motion on that one. To approve that transfer, that journal entry for $50,000. James, second? Second, okay, all in favor?
Thank you.
Opposed?
Thank you.
None, okay.
The second one is from the audit committee. So they are doing an internal audit currently, which is going over fiscal years. So requesting the balance that's left that was budgeted for the internal audit. There's 31,000 left. Same thing as what we're requesting with the regs. We want to take those funds, not lose them, put them over to the special project so they continue on with their internal audits.
Okay, yeah.
Big- Anybody have a concern? That one
I'll move
makes
that.
sense? Okay, motion to approve. Bob, second? I think Nick got you.
It's very fast.
He's quick. Okay, all in favor?
Yeah.
Opposed, none? Okay, so moved. And then the last one.
Have Tiger explain, it's an authorization, it's a bonded authorization. Again, it's going within its same bucket, so it's okay, but have Tiger explain what it's the need.
Right, so Joe Zagorinsky, my project manager, is on as well, because Joe's been running this project. This is the Irwin demolition project itself. And we're looking to transfer money from, because it's in the same bucket, from the Waveney House exterior repairs project over to the Irwin demolition, because the numbers itself for the demo came in higher than what we had originally anticipated. So we went out, did an analysis from Hoffman, gave us an analysis originally on the envelope study, and it came to determine that it was going to be too much money to take care of the building at that point. And then we hired Fuss and O'Neill to come in and do an environmental study on it to see exactly what the environmental aspects were going to be as far as demolishing the building. Then we went out to bid, and what we had come to originally with what we thought would be the structure of the demolition number and an estimate for what we thought might be based upon Hoffman's estimates as to what we thought the environmental would be. Those two numbers were a little bit lower, by about $300,000. And then we have some additional costs whereby now that we're taking down the house and the garage, inside the garage is where we have all of our storage, and we have our building maintenance individual there. So his shop is there. We have no location for him. So we need to relocate him from the Irwin garage to the Irwin barn. So to actually retrofit the barn to satisfy the requirements as far as fire rating for the area, since we've got vehicles in there that actually have gas, mowers and things of that nature, and actually make a shop for him that he had, and then be able to store the materials that we had, paper goods, things of that nature that actually needs to be conditioned. The space itself needs to be conditioned. There's some costs associated with that. So the overall tally comes to $413,982.20 was what the overall project costs were. That includes contingency of approximately $76,530.20. Actually, not approximately, $76,530.20. And again, the monies are available on the Waveney side as far as the exterior repairs. Those numbers came in markedly lower than what our anticipated costs were going to be. And we feel comfortable in the fact of taking the money from there, moving it over to Irwin, and then not coming back now, especially since you said that you were going to be watching for the tiles. I told exactly. I said, Joe, Joe, we got
mess
to make
with
sure
Nick.
that this one comes back. If we're going to drop it from 2.4 to 2 million, we got to come in under 2 million because they're going to ask the question. So if you're going to watch for $10,000 on tiles, like
I'm glad you got it. You got it.
he can hear it. But so that was the that's the overall look is from bucket to bucket to bring those numbers over to then be able to bring the building down.
So
And then-
413 is then all in for the building to be down and
413 is the additional cost. It's not,
Additional.
it's
What did we
not
have
all in.
before?
We had originally 550,000, but we spent $75,000 on the study for the envelope itself, and then the Hoffman study, the Fuston O'Neill study, and then some additional money, about 17,000 for waste and water work that we needed to upgrade for the barn itself. So we had originally that, take those two off. I had working capital of 458, 350, and we're anticipating to take the building down at around 762, 500. So that's the approximately $100,000 for the demolition itself off of what our estimate was, and approximately $300,000 off of what our estimate was for the abatement.
But
itself.
isn't the way to look at it, we budgeted 550 for this demo?
Yeah, 150 in the previous year and 400 in the.
Yeah, so 550, I got
550.
that. And it's gonna cost 963. 450 plus the 413, right?
That's not all.
550
the
plus
413
413.
isn't all just demo though. That's also reconstruction of the barn. What's just the,
What's just the,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good question, because we
Just
approved,
the demo itself is 762, 500,
so we budgeted 550 and it's 760.
62.
Is that what, I think that's the apples and apples I'm looking for. That's what you're asking for? Exactly. So, I mean, it's okay that it went from 550 to 760. I'm glad we found some money, but that's not how this can work. I mean, we budgeted 550. I mean, we can find another 200,000, I guess, but are we, this board okay with that? I mean, that wasn't the budget we gave.
That's correct.
But it's not just 760, right? Because they're transferring 413, so it's 500 going to 913 total, right?
but some of
No,
that money is.
some of the 13,
Right, it's
413 is not for demo.
Right, but it's for something else that we didn't
It's-
budget for either.
Yeah.
Right, because if we're gonna take down
Yeah.
the garage, there is an individual in that garage that does work for the town, and we need to move him out of there, take a water line, so there needs to be a bathroom facility in there, and.
So we just missed that.
Yes,
We missed that, I guess. When we knew we were gonna take the garage down, we didn't think about that.
We thought that the cost would be less than what they
Yeah.
were anticipating.
Yeah.
We knew we'd have to move the individual, but we didn't think that we would have to condition the space, that we would actually have to fire rate the entire area. And it's based upon, since we have vehicles on the second floor that are gas related, for parks equipment, things of that nature, I got to fire rate the bottom. So I have to have separation, especially since now I have a staff member in the building. So there's a lot of additional costs that we did not anticipate.
Okay, so added work, added cost, but apples to apples, the 550s become 760 to demo. Okay, so it's $200,000 more than we thought. Now, I don't think it's,
the house.
I was gonna say, it's not, it's still a good idea, I think. I mean, we could all agree to that, but I did want to just point out the way to track that though, is it came in much higher than expected once you got into it, is what I think I'm hearing.
Yes.
Okay, does that make sense?
Gonna come down.
as soon as you prove the money.
Somehow we became the problem. I don't know how that happened. That's pretty good.
It's gonna come down.
801.
Go to the Board of Selectmen.
plunger.
We needed approval of this
Yep.
before, to then be able to say to
Okay.
the selectmen that we have.
Okay, well, it is an increase. It went from 550 to 760. I mean,
What about, do you have some details about what the overestimate of the Hoffman assessment of the Waveney exterior repairs were? Why was there $200,000 extra?
It's not
on that?
Waveney, it's under on Waveney. So
We're
Waveney
under.
is
Yeah,
coming in
yeah.
under.
So, but they estimated that it would be 200,000 more than it actually is.
400.
Where is that
400,000.
It's
over?
400. It's more than that.
It's actually more
This is
than that.
400
Yeah.
coming out of Waveney.
Joe, do you want to add a little color to
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, so when we budgeted Waveney, we used Hoffman's numbers, and that was for their worst case scenario for the entire for the entire project, which was putting in flashing throughout the tops of every window. We worked with Hoffman and Architectural Preservation Studios to reduce the scope of work to do more of a targeted approach where we weren't putting through wall flashing through the entire building, where we were just putting it where it's actually needed, and there's water problems, or there's reasonably it's reasonably assumed there'll be water problems in the future for similar details. So we just didn't do as much work. We reduced the scope.
The flashing accounts for the $400,000 excessive estimate.
Flashing, yes. Yep.
Big house.
Right, and the flashing's
window,
expensive,
yeah.
right, so.
Are we shortchanging Waveney to finance Irwin?
We are not. We are not. We're doing everything. We were doing everything that we've uncovered at Waveney, and we still have money in reserve for anything that we still uncover till completion in November. And this is phase one. There'll be a phase two on Waveney, and Waveney phase two is also under budget. So what we have in the 5-year capital plan for phase two is going to come in under budget, so it will be adjusted this year in the capital process. So I'd like to add there, just to go back to Irwin for a second. I mean, the majority of the bust at Irwin is for the abatement. So we put together, the budget was put together without the benefit of having the full analysis of the hazardous materials on the site. And we did uncover a lot of waterproofing that contained asbestos in the bomb shelter and all the below grade areas. So that's really the $300,000 that kind of drove up the cost. That was an unforeseen condition.
I think we understand, you get into these things and you find there's a difference. I just want to make sure that it was being told that way, because that's really what it is. It's not just a transfer. This is more than we thought, which is fine. You went and found a way to fund it. And by the way, something came in under, so there's not more money. All good. The big picture here is we know Irwin is going to cost us millions of dollars. So we know this is the right move. And to your point on Waveney, one of the reasons we just can't afford two of those, right? We've got Waveney, and I think the answer was we can't have Waveney and Irwin sucking millions of dollars a year out of
That was the thought.
that.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
So I understand how you got to the over and the unders, but just wanted to make sure we got that clear. Okay. Okay, other questions on the need for this transfer? I think that's the way to put it. Pretty clear? Tiger, anything else from you?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well then I'll ask for a motion to approve this transfer for $413,982.
Motion.
Michael, thank you.
Second.
Oh, Victor got it.
Steve beat it.
Oh, no, Steve
Steve beat him. I checked.
Steve, all right, good.
Steve
Very-
got that
Thank
one.
you, Steve. Steve's got the second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Good discussion on that. That was
So
good.
before log off, what do you think the timing is now that once we get this approved to get to build the building down?
So hopefully before, if we're not, it's all about how long it takes to get the permit. So as long as there's no 90-day waiting period, we could start 10 days after approval, disconnecting utilities. So we could be done before winter.
Before when?
Winter.
That's good.
Okay. Yeah, I think you've got tax supported capital, right? There are.
But one more closeout budget transfer we got to do.
Oh,
Very large.
I didn't see it. Oh, that.
No, it's 16 pages. Yep.
Oh,
Gonna go line by line? No, joking. We get till tomorrow.
So I'll just give you a quick overview as Ryan brings it up. At the end of each year, what we do is we close
How
on
we
the
approve
expense
this.
side only. We go through and see overages or unders. Overages, by charter, we don't have overages, but we have them due to, we don't budget for OT, different changes in personnel. Those costs will always go through. Everything else is contained with our purchase orders. So at the end of the year, we clear everything out to bring it to zero. And we put the residual savings or to the good, or it's always to the good, hopefully, into our contingency fund. So we see what that savings is for the full year. Then that goes into our, what's called our RSI Schedule 1 in our ACFR at the end of the year. So we put everything in here, because it's going against contingency. Most of the time, everything is 10,000, above 10,000, but we just put the whole transfer in here so you can see what we're looking to move, so we can turn the books over to the auditors. So if there's any particular questions on line items, happy to address.
Just make sure we understand what we're approving. You're saying, and the net of it on page 16 is what? How do we read that?
The net of 1.6, that's going to go against contingency line. You can see down below. The last line underneath, where it has a revised budget of 698. If you take the 1.6 and the 698, if I'm going into the weeds, let me know. If you take the 1.675 and the revised budget of 698, that gives us what we showed as your savings for expenditures on the general fund for 25's financials. So in the contingency line, when this entry is done, you're going to see 976,000.
Basically, yeah.
What we showed is 976 on the 25 draft. That's the number you're going to see. The savings we're saying is will be in that bottom line contingency, and easy identifiable of what the savings were for the year.
The sum of the money that we didn't spend.
Right.
Got it. Good.
Yeah, the only big one was, right, the professional fees was like budget 400,000. I think we had 156,000.
Did you have that on
Professional legal fees,
It's
yeah.
on page 2.
2?
It's the biggest one, so it might be a good example.
Oh, the 243?
Yep.
That's our legal fees. So what you
Yeah.
have to do is, how we budget our legal fees, we do it in one line. So it's 300,000, 400,000. And then we break it out by department. So it's budgeted as one line, so that's what the 400,000 is. And then you'll see underneath, assessor, personnel, planning and zoning, that's all their legal fees. So it rolls up. I probably should show it rolled up. So it really probably amounts to about $100,000 in savings, which is good, less legal fees. But we identify each department's legal fees and roll it up into that budget of 400.
That makes more sense.
Yep.
Yeah. We're still under, but not as much. We're
Yeah,
still-
so it's probably about, is it about 100 or so?
Yeah,
maybe?
it's a little bit
Yeah.
over 100.
Some of the bigger items which are to the good, our workers' comp came in 85,000 under budget. So there's a couple of good ones that came in under budget for us.
So I'm just reading the bottom line, the contingency. You're saying the year-to-date available, we've add up all the line items. We are lower by 1.675. You had the parentheses negative, so that's under.
So that's what we knew. We're wiping out those budgets. So it's a negative to us. So the availability column is how it looks from an expenditure standpoint, that there's, if you're looking at that last page
Yeah.
and supplies building, it says, $2,300. That means we're $2,300 to the good. The closeout transfer, we're taking it away. That's why it's the negative.
Oh, we're taking that away.
Bring that
Oh,
budget to
that's why it's
zero.
negative.
Yeah.
Okay.
An easier way to read this is you look at the revised budget that was available, they expended whatever, and then available is what the difference is. If they didn't spend it, like the last line on them, $319,000.
Yeah.
They didn't spend it,
Positive number, right?
Yeah.
right? And so then they didn't spend it, so it gets swept.
Get swept, and we put it into the general contingency line that will show.
That's why it shows
At
as a
the end of the
negative.
year, this is our true savings for the year.
Got it. Okay.
So the general fund goes up by that.
By 1.6.
No, the general fund will go up by the
976. The
976.
net.
So
Then
what,
1.6 less than
Yeah.
698.
so what you'd have to look with, Michael, on that one, if you look on the contingency,
Yeah.
you'll see it's 698 with brackets around it.
Yeah.
You have to put the positive 1.6 against it to bring you to the 976.
Why was it 698 negative? What's that six?
So that's the transfer out of the ARPA funds that we took out. that we
Oh.
pre-approved, So we got them out.
So
And
that's
you saw that
negative.
as a loss on that 25 page. So
That's why it's a
will-
negative. Okay,
yes,
so it's transfer
yes.
out. Okay.
And
got
this will bring everything in line.
Back. Okay. Thank you.
Other questions? Very good description and summary. Obviously a lot going on.
Yes, please. Yes.
Say again, Tucker? No, I know. I'm asking if there are any other clarifications or questions for anybody? Alan, you good? Okay, all right. So motion to approve.
I move to approve.
And close
the
out
closeout
transfers.
transfers.
Okay, thank you. Second, please.
No, Bob?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay, thanks, Ann. Some year-end housekeeping. And then you still have this one.
Oh.
Tech supported capital fund. Anything there on this page? Project to request, this is the ones you want to keep open.
These were the ones, so we voted on some other ones in the last meeting.
Yep.
These were the ones that were left that you wanted brought forward to this meeting to
Right.
discuss, and you wanted to see it where it's, the budget actual, if there's any encumbrances against it, and what's available.
And the case to keep it open. Okay, someone needs to speak to these, right?
Yep.
I do remember the air conditioning for the bride and groom was very contentious. You missed a good meeting.
That's okay.
Here.
Oh, you got them?
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
All right, thanks. I was trying to go off the picture. I was texting with John just to make sure I have for the furniture in the brides and grooms room, he's working on
Bless you.
bless you,
Bless you.
on final pricing for a few pieces left to actually finalize and finish that work. So the available at 29,350, he's just waiting for a quote on a couple of pieces left, and then he'll want to use that money and close out that project itself. And then the AC for the brides and grooms room, we had originally thought we were going to put in mini splits for that work, and then it was determined that we couldn't necessarily use those. It was going to bad view from the windows looking at it. So now we're looking at buying some better units to do it, and then it should be a little bit less of a footprint or less of a view shed looking out from the house itself. So he's asking for that money to be carried forward as well. The Mead Park tennis
Well, just
building.
before you, hang on,
Sorry.
before you go
That
there.
was $20,000
Yeah, is it still 20 given what you're asking for those units?
at present. Yeah, it's still 20 because I was looking at a better unit, but I think he'll be fine. I think the
Okay.
splits were probably a little bit less than the 20. And I think he can still make it at the 20. He didn't mention that he couldn't in the discussion. And then the Mead Park tennis building, we would like to carry that forward. We've been working through a reconstruction of that area. So we went in and we took out the hard court that was there, put in the pickleball court. And at that point in time, we were waiting for an overall survey of Mead Park itself to then give us an idea of how to tackle the parking lot that's there, with the idea that to integrate that shed, two sheds, basically, one for the attendant and then one for storage. And we've just received the survey. The survey took a lot longer than we had anticipated. I'll be honest, about a year and a half when it should have been 3-4 months. The surveyor was backlogged and they wound up closing shop. It got a little bit, or separating their duties, what have you. We finally have the survey. Maria has a plan for what we want to do as far as the parking lot, and then we're gonna buy the shed to put the shed there. The shed that we have now, that the floor is starting to fail. There's a lot going on with the existing shed, and we need to get that attendant out. So while the money went in originally as just a replacement of the shed, then the whole other aspect of the pickleball courts and then redoing the tennis, redoing the parking lot to satisfy the new use of the pickleball courts came into play. So we were a little bit delayed on that. We apologize, but we're very close to putting that out to bid and then doing it holistically. So that is the thought there. And then the bleachers themselves, John actually thought that one was closed. So That one there, I think, that one, I think that's just a carryover, right?
Okay.
Yeah, this, I think we bought the bleachers that we were looking at, I think it was Lapham Community Center bleachers, and we had $10,000 left. So I think
Close it.
that's
So we don't need the 10,000.
$10,000, just need the other three.
Okay. So 69,350. Okay, is everyone okay with those explanations then? There was some, just little open switch on those. I know they're tiny little bit amounts of money, but it's a good discipline team, I'll be honest with you. I mean, we have it out there, we have it budgeted, we either, should, use it or lose it kind of thing. And I think you've done a great job at not wasting or just spending it to get rid of it. So we don't mind the things go on as long as it's done thoughtfully, but
Use it or lose it.
it's not exactly,
Yeah,
that's
we
right, I
don't,
agree.
we don't work that. We either.
No, it's,
either need
we
it or
applaud it,
don't
we
need
applaud
I
it.
don't-
That's,
um,
this is the better way to do it, frankly, but just want to clean it up. Okay. Any other questions? If not, I'd motion to approve, then it's the 69,350 minus that 10,000 of the Waveney Athletic Field bleachers for the other three items. So approval to keep those projects open?
Approve. Motion.
Who approve? Okay, Steve, second? Nick. All right, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, none, so moved. Anything else?
No, thank
Nope,
you.
we're good.
Ann?
No, thank
Ryan,
you.
anything?
I'm okay. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, let's see, we got anything else in the back? No, that's it. Tucker, anything? Yes. And do you have anything? Okay.
For budget season. I know, hard to believe. Just wanted to invite all of you, if you have any suggestions, feedback, anything that you would like to see us do in terms of the process, let us know now. What we've done, as you know, in the past is we've set your budget calendar, your regular yearly calendar. The budget meetings are in there. And again, if there's part of the process that you would like to see us do, this is the time to let us know.
We talked about Alan joining the pension committee.
We did, Alan's raised his hand for a
If-
couple of things.
If
We
that's
might-
something you're. Sure. Okay, and I do want to go through final assignments. We should make sure they're all out in everybody's hands, and then we'll make sure we lock all that down in October.
Any of you are currently assigned, and I can send that list out. I believe I've sent it out, but if you're currently assigned to a subcommittee that you either would like to come off, or if there's one you'd like to go on, this is also the time to let us know.
Sneak peek for anything else on that? So for our October meeting, we are going to invite Brian to come and talk about the fourth school that's being discussed, I would say. I will ask for sort of three looks: one, the do nothing view; one, that school view, and maybe C3, what about enlarging all the existing elementary schools? So I just want to hear what their thinking is, get some math on the table, understand what their plan is and all that. So that'll be October. I think we're gonna have Andrew here to walk through expectations on interest income. That's important. A WPCA meeting, because we're going to talk about the thing that the topic we discussed around helping to make sure we're covering the expenses associated with any capital needed for. But, yeah. Yep. With that, motion to adjourn. Steve, come on. Yep, Steve. Second, please. All right, Nick, all in favor? All right, opposed? None, so moved. Thank you all.